Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated match for the heavyweight championship of the world. Are you ready?
The longest running sports show in KWTS history.
Are you ready?
With hosts Koehler Wendt, Keltin Wiens, and Zach Barnes.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
The best sports talk show in the Texas Panhandle. It's time for Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to This is the 191.1 KWTS. I am KWTS Sports Director Koehler Wendt. The hyenas in the background on mic 2.
Incredible intro.
With a great music bed.
With the harmonica. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. That's Keltin Wiens on mic 2.
Fun fact of the day. Apparently, the Oakland Raiders are not good on 3rd and 48.
Keltin, we were going to save that for later.
How can you not be good on 3rd and 48?
It's a gimme.
Seriously.
It's a gimme shot. On mic 3, we have Zach Barnes.
Guys, awesome news for this guy. Despite the Texans being terrible, the Colorado Avalanche are number 1 in the Central Division. Heck yes. Even though that's how we started last year, and we finished like last.
And then this week we have a special guest host, Kit Strife, WT Athletic Director for Media Relations.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. We have Kit joining us today, and we're going to be talking some Buff sports.
Taylor, I believe it is Strife. Yes, Kit.
Strife. What did I say?
Strife.
Oh, my bad. This is awkward.
You work for him.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm going to get fired right after the show.
You will be fired Monday.
It's because you're wearing he comes in wearing a U of A jacket. Come on, now this I can't even believe it.
And a UMass hat.
A UMass hat, too. So we'll go over weekends real quick. I know you two went to the Tarleton game, Kit and
we did.
Kelton did. So share some of your experiences.
Well,
that's about it.
yeah. I mean, we really, I think Kit and I did find a mattress with a happy face on it. That was pretty cool.
That's what that was.
Yeah, that's what that was. And I might tweet that, by the way, at UC_KWTS. Might tweet
you should.
the mattress with the happy face on it. And really, we had a pretty good time in Stephenville until the result of the game last night. And then on the way home today, Kit and I listened to the Chiefs and the Raiders game and drove through an incredible rainstorm from literally post until about happy or so, where it was just raining cats and dogs the whole way. And so, that was the weekend, for me at least.
Well, Kelton, I think that as a Raiders fan, as a hapless Raiders fan, as I should say, I think that going back to the 3rd and 48 comment, I think that the Raiders should have gone for it on 4th and 48. Why not?
Who sees it coming?
Either a fake punt or something along those lines,
Yeah.
I mean, Pryor running out and scrambling for about 46 yards of the 48.
Speaking of the fake punt, you and I had this conversation yesterday. Kit, you're a big Iowa Hawkeye fan.
Yep.
Right? And they were on the bye week yesterday. And you mentioned that they were down 2 touchdowns to the bye week on fake punts, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Based on 2 fake punt touchdowns. Because Kirk Ferentz, the head coach at the University of Iowa, he said in the paper the other day that he is not going to ever return a punt put on the punt return ever again. Because, and now I understand saying that, not that anyone cares in this part of the country, but I understand saying that in a gut check moment, pissed off moment after a game when they got beat by Michigan State 2 weeks ago. But he came out and said that 3 or 4 days later. So obviously I think there's some validity into it. So, I don't know. But I thought the fake punt scoring 2 touchdowns was on the bye week was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Zach, how about your weekend?
It was pretty rocking. Yesterday was a really awesome day. It was my girlfriend's and I's 3-year anniversary.
Yeah,
yesterday.
congratulations on that.
Congrats.
And, this is the awesome part. She surprised me with a visit down here. Cause, I mean, we're always busy and big stuff, so we usually don't get to do something until like a couple days before or later. She's back home listening and stuff. No, she's cool that way. But she got me.
No, I mean,
Amarillo.
you said, okay. You said she came down, so I'm like, where'd she come? Oh, Amarillo, okay.
Amarillo.
And she got me a GameStop gift card.
Ooh,
which I used today to get NHL 14.
Nice.
How is it? How is it?
How is it?
I haven't played it yet. I'd like
play with the Coyotes.
No.
Oh, come on now.
Forget you. No. There's a team I'll ever play as from Canada, and that's Winnipeg.
Zach, I'm gonna lay some predictions down here. Zach's probably gonna play as the Chicago Blackhawks.
Ooh.
Words I would use. Bet you know exactly what I'm thinking.
Bad
right
words.
Now.
Bad words. Oh, okay.
Because you know my feelings for the Blackhawks.
Well,
love,
maybe.
No.
Love to the nth degree. Your weekend, Caleb.
I was about to say, I was
this.
awkwardly waiting for it. It was pretty slow, actually. Not much. I had to write some papers. I went to the WT volleyball game on Friday, which was awesome. I didn't realize, Kate, you could say this. Did we get a lot more girls on the volleyball team? It seems like it's a lot bigger now.
There's the bigger team this year.
Yeah.
I recruited a lot more people, and we have, I think my assistant Brent said somewhere 23, 24, I think.
Yeah. Because we were watching the intros, and Brad Starks was doing the intros for both teams, and poor Commerce, they only had like the bare minimum. And he goes to our side. We just have like almost stand to stand filled with volleyball players. It was pretty awesome. We have the intros. I didn't realize I was so pumped up after the intro because he goes through all the stats and he goes twice, I believe, national championships,
three-time
national champions. He was most successful Division II program, and it just got me pumped. So really good game. And then I produced on yesterday. I produced the volleyball game, so I had WT volleyball this weekend. So that was pretty much my whole weekend.
Very nice.
And then, the conference with volleyball this year is kind of nice because they got off to a really, really good start with a very young team.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to lose 3 All-Americans and
keep going
like that. But to see the Lady Buffs do such a great job and win a couple road games that were really, really big in terms of the conference positioning, to beat Angelo and to beat Tarleton on the road,
right,
was a great start.
And then with Tarleton beating Angelo also on the road, then they with Commerce beating Angelo on the
Texas
road,
women's.
and Texas women's beating
and
Angelo,
Texas A&M Kingsville,
and Texas A&M Kingsville beating Angelo. Angelo State, which has generally gone back and forth with WT on the volleyball front, kind of like, here's the keys to the conference tournament. Here you go. Have fun hosting at the box. So you pretty much just got to take care of business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As we jump into some Buff sports, as we were saying, Lady Buffs won both their games this weekend at the box. They played Texas A&M Commerce first. Zach, you were there, weren't you? You were upstairs, you said?
Of course, I was at both.
You were upstairs. What was your take on the game? I really liked what I saw from Lady Buffs.
I really liked what I saw from Lady Buffs. Against Commerce, the first and third set
were really good.
If I remember right, Commerce kind of took a quick lead, and the Lady Buffs were having to fight back each time. In the second set, they just pretty much dominated the whole time.
And the thing you got to remember about Commerce is that for the last couple of years, they've been really athletic.
Right.
They're a really athletic team. They're a pretty good team, really. And Zach, you and I were talking with Lady Buff volleyball head coach Jason Scoach earlier this week, and he alluded to something that I had kind of been thinking. Something is up in Commerce with their athletic program because they are excited for the Lions and the Lady Lions.
They're getting a lot of new
Commerce.
stuff.
Yeah.
Volleyball got new uniforms too.
Right.
And they kind of followed the Commerce helmet design, football helmet design.
Nice.
Because they had numbers on one sleeve and the big Lions head logo on the other sleeve.
Right.
And they had their names on their jerseys.
Yeah,
which is
they did.
odd in volleyball.
It is. What I personally liked, one player that stood out to me was Laura Wichiku. The way she defends the net. Kelton, I remember a couple years ago when we were doing volleyball, we coined the phrase the Great Wall of Texas. And that's what we called the WT defense at the net.
Right,
and Wichiku just dominant at the net. Nothing gets past her.
She's the remaining member of the Great Wall of Texas, and she is fantastic. Voodoo Wichiku.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on that was Commerce. Then the next day they played Texas Women's, and they swept 3-0. This game was kind of funny for me because I was producing, and Keltin was texting me every other second about suggestions for the guys doing commentary. I'm like, I'll try to give him my best. And you sent so much, Keltin.
I didn't know you were producing that game.
Yes, I was.
Yeah?
I was in here. Was it awful? No, they did a really good job. I'm not going to... The two freshmen that did it did an excellent job.
I mean, it was just, just little things.
It was freshman mistakes, but they learned, and they were pretty good about it. But like I said, two sweeps this weekend for volleyball, and they're really in control right now, speaking about conference play. And we've been pretty excited this week because every time we talk about WT football, we always get excited about one reference that we always make, and I actually got the reference. And let me see if I can play it real quick.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbitt.
And that's it. The Mrs. Nesbitt.
For the two members of the studio who did not have headphones.
Oh, that's right.
That's terrible. But they just heard about 6 seconds of silence there. But I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, I just saw this. I know we were just talking about them, but with the Lady Buffs beating Texas Women's, they now move to 38-6 all time against the Pioneers, including WT taking the past 19 meetings dating back to the 1995 season.
Wow.
So, yeah, I didn't know that.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
So we're talking. We're gonna move on to WT football here. WT went down to Tarleton State, number 21. WT was number 4, and we lose pretty shockingly, 31-27. You guys were both there. I got to watch a little bit of it. I was doing homework, so I didn't get to see the comeback by Tarleton. What happened in this game after having a 24-point lead, you guys?
Well, I think that the Buffs got off to a quick start with
very quick start, yeah.
Uncharacteristic on Tarleton's part, a fumble on the very first play from scrimmage by a very good running back in Jeremy Regal.
You're right.
And Buffs cashed it in for a touchdown right away, and very uncharacteristically to kind of set the tone for the night, I guess, if you will. The point after was blocked. And it was the first miss by Sergio Castillo on the season. And then, WT just had some great plays. Curtis Slater had a huge pick where for a 5'9" guy.
Fantastic one-handed interception. It was awesome.
I mean, he climbed the ladder and just, grabbed it out of the air. It was
he could have given a Brontosaurus a run for his money.
Was it as good as the Nathan Slaughter against Chadron one-handed grab?
It was probably as good.
It was comparable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
So that was a big play, and they got off, had a number 9. Dustin meticulously moved the team down the field. The running game was working well, using both Jeremy Allridge and Aaron Harris, and things were looking good, and I kind of think that they've been so accustomed to getting a huge lead in the first half, and just I don't want to say coasting because that's not the right word, but just kind of
managing,
right?
Managing the game,
right? Tarleton was down,
and Tarleton, they had a ton of people there, and they had this tailgate outside that was absolutely awesome, and they had a live band and all kinds of stuff.
It was a fantastic atmosphere,
very good atmosphere.
Those people that we knew at Stephenville saying that they were saying that it was the biggest game at Tarleton in 10 years, and they really showed up for it. Indeed, and give some credit to Tarleton State here because they didn't give up. They
kept fighting.
They kept fighting in the second half. And an interesting thing that Kit and I were talking about on the way home was that in the first half, WT's real big on penalties. That's not necessarily like that's not what we try to win games with. But I thought it was interesting. WT was undefeated this year when they committed more penalties than the other team. And in the first half, WT was committing penalties. And in the second half, when Tarleton was coming back and WT didn't score a point in the second half, we had 1, maybe 2 penalties in the whole second half.
One was a big pass interference penalty. It was on the game-winning drive for Tarleton.
Right.
And it put Tarleton in down in the red zone, actually.
Oh, wow.
But it was too bad. But, as Keltin said, give credit to Tarleton. They played a great game. And WT hadn't lost to Tarleton since 2004.
Oh, I
And
did not know
which was
that.
Eight straight wins.
Yeah, and it's tough to beat somebody that many times in a row. I mean,
Eventually, they're going to get it.
Yeah, we haven't beat Eastern New Mexico that many times in a row, and so I give credit to Tarleton. And actually, when WT was up 27-3 at the half, there were a lot of Tarleton fans that left.
Oh, really?
There were a lot of fans that left, and those that stayed really stuck around for.
They got a good show.
Quite a show.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like after the game was over, the fans kind of stormed the field, kind of like a championship type atmosphere. And unfortunately, for the past 2 years in a row, the Buffs have come out on the short end of what could be considered a championship, an LSC championship type game.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for that. That's going to do it for our first segment. That was the Buff Sports segment. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk some NFL, a little Heisman update, and then a little later on we're going to do Sunday Punch. We would like to give a quick thanks to Premier Community Management for underwriting Unsportsmanlike. Premier Community Management offers a variety of services to homeowner associations throughout Central Arizona and are located online at premieraz.com. So we'll be right back. You keep it tuned into the station for your generation, the One 91.1. Welcome back to the One 91.1 FM. I am KWTS Sports Director Koehler Wendt. Joining me is Keltin.
Howdy.
On mic 2 over there. I was going to say, I was waiting for you. This is kind of awkward for a minute.
Last week when I just did the dead air, I just sat there.
You just sat there. You say something.
Say something.
And then on mic 3, it's kind of a joint mic right now. We have Zach.
Hey, gang, what's the action?
You completely killed that. And then we're joined, of course, by our guest host, Kit.
I don't know. I thought it.
The last name?
Yeah, what's the last name?
Wrong.
Street. Guys, I'm going to be fired.
You are going to be fired.
For the, I don't know if you mentioned it before, Koehler, but Kit is the sports information director for WT Athletics.
Yes.
So, very, very knowledgeable man.
Well,
yes.
your guys' bosses. I'll say I just got fired on air. Street. I'll remember it.
Yes.
So at the next football game, when I ask you,
I'll say
what
Street.
is my name? You can say.
Which, by the
Kit
way, the Buffs
I've been
play
called worse.
Angelo State this week.
The Rams.
The Rams at Kimbrough Memorial Stadium. Kickoff at 6 p.m. Figures
It's a big
to be
game.
It is
going to be a big game.
I'm not
It's
gonna
a
lie. I
huge
kind of
game.
feel sorry for Angelo State this Saturday.
Why is that,
Because
Zach?
they're going to be playing a really, really angry us.
Very much so. Very much.
I hope so.
We hope. Certainly.
And guys, before we went to break, we were talking about sports, and we forgot 2 tidbits of information. One was Kyrie Robinson scored his first career touchdown for the Saints today. That's big news coming from a WT or former WT buff. If you didn't watch him, he's called
news.
Kyrie Feed the Beast Robinson because he would just power over people.
And I was watching him run later in the game, too, and it looked like he was doing the same thing to the Patriots that he did to the Lone Star Conference defenses. He just...
I said this on the show a couple weeks ago. I said if the Saints want to win more games, they need to play Kyrie more because I think right now he's their best running back. Sproles I count as a receiver. I don't think he's really a running back.
Well,
Agreed.
like their number 1 and 2 running backs are
Banged up, first of all.
Sproles has like 26 receptions and the other one has 25.
Right.
So they're getting passes.
Yes.
I just love the fact that Kyrie Robinson, a Division II guy, is playing ahead of
a bunch of big schools.
and is playing ahead of
Kansas State, Illinois.
a Heisman Trophy winner,
Right.
too, even though Mark Ingram is injured.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't really count him. He's not
Right.
really playing that much. And
The
then,
other thing, I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead. I was going to
The
move
other
on.
thing is, from what I've read and what I've written about over the course of the summer leading into the fall was that Kyrie was the unsung hero of summer camp, preseason.
Nice.
He led the team in rushing during preseason. And all the different articles that I've seen from the Saints camp had said that he was the great surprise
Right.
of the season. And to see him come out today and do what he did was great. I know he's fighting with
Some
I
really
forgot
good
the guy's
backs.
first name. I apologize. Cadet who went to Appalachian State.
Right.
Trevarian, I think is his name. Anyway, But still, I mean, I think it's great to see a guy from WT be able to do that. We have about 7 or 8 guys in the NFL right now, and that's pretty awesome for a Division II school.
Absolutely. And I was going to also mention Britton Golden was on the active roster today for the Arizona Cardinals. So his first NFL game for another former
Stephen
WT
Burton
Buff.
was on the active roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars today.
One of the guys I interned for emailed me, and he said, hey, this guy Britton Golden, he goes, he went to your school? I'm like, yes, he did. I'm like, yeah.
Anthony Armstrong is about to play.
Yes, he is for the Cowboys. So all over the place, we have WT Buffs making names
out there.
And then the other tidbit of information I forgot to say about Buff Sports is Midnight Madness is tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome. It's 10 to 12 p.m. in the box. They're going to have some giveaways, and then they're going to have a free pancake or breakfast.
Gonna have a slam dunk contest.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. I think they're having a guys versus girls game.
Yeah, it's guys versus girls. Well, not really a game, but it's like even the fans participate.
Oh, okay.
The guys come into the game and they get a blue ticket, and the gals come into the game, they get a pink ticket.
Oh.
And they have different prizes and they have different points and things like that. So by the end of it's just a big battle of the sexes, and it'd really be a lot of fun tomorrow night. It's at the box.
And it says here, first 100 fans will get a free T-shirt. So make sure you get there early for that.
Another thing is an opportunity to see that our basketball teams this year with Rick Cooper with pretty much a whole new squad, but guys who have a lot of talent and on paper are very, very, very talented players. So it'll be neat to see the Buffs in action this season. They have a great schedule.
Right.
As well as the Lady Buffs under new head coach Mark Kellogg. So should be a really, really good, fun night to kick off the basketball season.
Now, Kate, you would know this. Is Coach Cooper bringing the mustache back? That was what I loved about going to games, to see him get all angry with the mustache.
You know, I'm not sure. You'd have to ask him directly.
I have a story about that. In the locker room at the First United Bank Center, in the Buffalo locker room, there's a picture on the wall of each of Coach Cooper's teams. And the faces have changed, the assistant coaches have changed, and Coach Cooper's been here. This is his 21st season, and even the venue has changed from the box out to the First United Bank Center. But the one thing that was constant in all those pictures was the stash, and it was awesome.
Kept on going through the years. So we're going to move on to our NFL segment here. I actually wrote down our picks. I have them on my phone so we can actually compare. If you didn't see the stats, I am winning with 20 picks back-to-back weeks of
rigged.
10. No way, man. It's all on tape. You can go listen to it. And I believe Kelton's at 15 and Zach is at 13. I believe. I know it's on our Twitter page if you want to check it. But this last week, the Thursday night game was the Chicago Bears taking on the New York Giants. They win 27-21. Eli Manning, have you seen the struggle face meme that's going around?
Oh, no,
it's him it's him frowning, like making all sorts of different faces after interceptions. So that's pretty funny.
Poor Eli.
Yeah.
He's got more. He always seems to live under Peyton's shadow, even though he's got
more Super Bowls.
Twice as many Super Bowl rings as Peyton does.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is fascinating. Poor Eli. They'll get it together, though.
You'd hope so. They're 0-6.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rough. And then
they can go 10-0 from here on out and have a good chance to make the playoffs.
They could. The Panthers
not going to happen, but they could.
Well, the East is horrible, so
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who knows?
So the Panthers win huge 35-10 over the Vikings. Rough day. We'll talk a little later about Adrian Peterson. Rough day for the Vikings. They lose. And then we have the Bengals winning in overtime over the Bills. Thad Lewis threw he combined for 3 touchdowns today. And he was the practice squad QB for the Bills. Keep that in mind.
Certainly. Andy Dalton, 26 of 40, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns on Kelton's bench in fantasy.
Hey, we've all been there, Kelton. We've all been there. You had Peyton Manning. There's no way you could have seen that coming.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, the law firm, 18 carries for 86 yards. And A.J. Green, 6 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown.
Absolutely. Then we had the game that nobody really ever wants to watch. It was the Lions taking on the Browns. Lions win 31-17. Megatron did play, and it was actually a pretty close game for the most part. And then the Lions really pulled away at the end there.
Is it just me, or this would be Brandon Whedon's first game back?
No, he played last week.
Oh, he played. That's right.
Brian Hoyer got injured and he
that's
came
right,
in.
That's right.
First starting.
Yes, this is his first start.
Start, and they lose after they were on a 3-game win streak.
So let's do the math there. And then we had
Interesting.
Kelton's Chiefs win 24-7 over the Raiders. Now
Darn
you can
right
use
they
your
did.
little tidbit
There
of
was one
information.
point in the game in which the Raiders lost 38 yards on 3 consecutive plays, and they were faced with a 3rd and 48. They had to get to the Kansas City 40-yard line. They were on their own 12. And they had to get to the Kansas City 40-yard line for the first down. But the big thing of this game, though, was that Kansas City had a nice gut check win. They moved to 6-0, but also that Chiefs fans broke they now have the world record for the loudest outdoor stadium on earth.
Wow. Seattle's going to try to beat it.
Seattle broke Kansas City's old record at 136.6 decibels earlier this year, and Kansas City roared at 137.5 decibels. To put it into perspective, taking a 747, 4 jet engines, a 747 taking off is 120 decibels.
Wow.
That's loud.
That is really loud.
That's loud.
That's deafening.
And Kit and I were listening to this game, and we were commenting. Arrowhead Stadium's a fantastic place to watch a game, but and Zach, you know me, I like to listen to a lot of football games. I listen to most games more so than I watch games, and I had never heard a crowd quite like that. Every down the Raiders had the ball, it was impossible to hear. They were going nuts at Kansas City.
How many delayed game penalties did the Raiders have?
A lot. The Chiefs with 10 sacks of Terrell Pryor.
Wow.
And Tamba Hawley with 3.5 of those. And so
have a game.
Yeah, I mean they were going nuts up there, and good for them, But
Absolutely.
137.5 decibels.
Right.
I can't even fathom how loud that is.
And absolutely. And then Jamal Charles had a good day. He had total 128 yards and 2 touchdowns
right.
in the win. So I just mentioned that because he's on my fantasy team. I just had to throw that in, Kelton, because you did yours.
Right.
Then we had a kind of an ugly game. It was the Steelers winning 19-6 over the Jets. The Jets, after having a really good week where they beat the Falcons,
going to Atlanta and beating the Falcons,
they lose in an ugly game at home against the Steelers. It does not make sense. It's kind of weird.
It's the Jets. It makes perfect sense.
One week they're good, one week they're not.
Ben Roethlisberger, 264 yards and a touchdown.
Ben
Geno Smith.
Ratzenberger. Yeah, that's what Matt Champy. Kit knows, Matt. He used to call him Ratzenberger.
We love you, Matt. Geno Smith, 19-34 for 201 yards.
He didn't play a horrible game. They did not look very
right.
good. It was an ugly game.
Right.
And then we had the Eagles going down to Tampa. This game was interesting. I saw on Twitter they were thinking about delaying this game because apparently there's a disease outbreak in Tampa.
There is.
And so they were advising, or the NFL Players Association almost advised them to cancel the game.
There have been a lot of players. I think it was like 30 or something players on the Buccaneers that have come down with this particular disease.
I'm not sure what it is.
And it's very interesting. I've never seen anything quite like this before. But they did play the game.
Right.
And the muscle hamster was 67 yards. Mike Glennon, the starting quarterback for Tampa Bay after they released Josh Freeman, was 26 of 43 for 273 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Foles, 3 touchdowns, 296 yards. Shady McCoy, 116 yards.
What did we hear today on the radio, Kelton, about how Greg Schiano was maybe the mastermind behind getting Josh Freeman gone?
I did hear that. Some of the big thing about Josh Freeman was that he was caught using drugs, but it was like his first offense, and the NFL has different levels of punishment for drug offenses, and so they and that at that stage it's supposed to be confidential. No one's supposed to know that he's going to rehab, and somebody found out, and they're thinking Greg Schiano, the head coach, might have been the mole on that one.
That's pretty crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. To a point, that wouldn't surprise me.
What?
That I don't know. Just the way that Schiano kind of presents himself. Whenever I see him in media stuff, I'm just like, okay, there's something going on that we don't know about.
Right.
And of course, that's a case in every instance. But he just kind of has this thing about him that I'm just like, I'm not sure how much I like you, if I like you at all.
Well, he's not chopping trees at Tampa like he
Right.
was at Rutgers.
Right.
Absolutely. So Well, if you're an Eagles fan, you got to be happy because Michael Vick was out. He suited up, but he didn't play. But Nick Foles looked pretty good.
Well, I don't think you're happy that Mike Vick was out, but you're happy.
Well, I
with
mean,
Nick
you're
Foles.
happy that your backup can play
Right.
well in
Just
the
put-
system.
Just put Matt Barkley in there.
And where did Nick Foles go to
Sunshine
college?
went to U of A, Kit. Go Devils, fork 'em. And then we had a battle between the Packers and the Ravens in Baltimore. This is one where a lot of people thought it might have been a shootout, and it kind of was the exact opposite.
Well, it still turned into a really good game.
It was a good game. I'm not going to take anything away from that, but
Old man Dallas Clark had one heck of a touchdown catch towards the
Nice.
end. To
Dallas Clark still
it-
exists.
yeah, he's
I
he's
knew he
playing
was
for
on
the
the
Ravens
Ravens.
since Pitt is gone.
And where did he go to college?
Iowa. I'm all over this kid. I got it. Eddie Lacy.
Dallas Clark, by the way, played in the very first NFL championship game. There's your fun fact.
Old man Dallas Clark. The Packers rookie running back Eddie Lacy kind of a coming out party as he rushes for over 120 yards against a good defense too, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, tell me about it. Joe Flacco, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ray Rice, 34 carries. Aaron Rodgers, 315 yards and a touchdown. Jordy Nelson, where did he go to school, Koehler?
Kansas State.
That's right. I watched him play in person. 4 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown.
Oh man, you guys just throw them at me. I'm like a database. Then the one game that Zach probably doesn't want us to talk about, the Rams have an upset in Houston. They win 38-13. Zach, what do you have to say?
I wouldn't call that an upset.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't
would.
either.
I would definitely call this. No, am I the only one who calls it?
2 and 3 teams,
But it's the Rams.
It's an upset
They're
if
awful.
Houston was like 4-1.
I guess.
I mean, it's not an upset because of course, Houston had the 2 strong comeback wins to start.
Oh yeah.
But with them playing as crappy as they were, with first halves, I'm like, okay, guys, you do realize you can't do this if to continue with the season. And then of course, Schaub got hurt, and then Arian Foster finally comes out of nowhere.
41 yards for
He finally had a really awesome game, but once we got in the red zone, we couldn't do anything. Somebody would fumble or get a turnover, and then I know Schaub getting that leg injury. Chris Long kind of fell on his leg awkwardly.
Here's what I find interesting. Schaub had 186 yards. He was 15 of 21. He wasn't doing half bad, but he gets hurt.
Right.
And Arian Foster, 141 yards on 20 carries. Your leading passer for St. Louis was Sam Bradford, 117 yards and 3 touchdowns. Your leading rusher for St. Louis, 79 yards on 18 carries, and yet they still score 38 points.
Because almost half their drives they were on our side of the field.
Right.
Because Houston either would turn the ball over. And honestly, let's see, one touchdown was a pick 6 by T.J. Yates.
For the fifth consecutive game
that Houston's had a pick 6. And then another touchdown for the Rams was a fumble return for a touchdown on a kickoff.
Right.
I mean, special teams and defense literally won the game for the Rams.
Well, I saw an interesting. They did like a little side video kind of thing. They're talking about all the pick 6s are not entirely Schaub's fault. They're saying how the Houston receivers are waiting, just standing around for the ball.
They are. They're literally just sitting. It's one thing that that always gets me angry about playing football video games. It's like they throw the ball and there's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep running to the little spot. I'm like, no, come back to me.
Yeah.
Come back to the ball. It's like they're just literally just waiting for the ball.
That's human nature. You can't really make that into video games.
It's just
that'd be
like-
hard.
I'm just like,
But I get what you're saying.
And like a lot of them, they literally just sit and wait for the ball. I'm like, go attack the ball, because each time it's the defender literally just steps in front of them and takes it away from them, opposed to, oh, there was just a bad throw or they made a really, really athletic play.
Right. And then the next game was the largest point spread difference in, I think, Vegas history. And I think so. It was 28 points. Broncos were favored. They do not cover the spread. They win, though, 35-19.
Man, I bet some people lost some serious cash.
I bet some guys made some serious cash. That was amazing. One of the greatest tweets I saw was after Peyton Manning threw the pick 6. Sports Nation tweeted out, they go, does Peyton realize that his name isn't Eli? But Keltin was describing his frustration because Peyton Manning didn't really have a Peyton Manning-esque day. He
295 yards, 2 touchdowns. No Sean Marino, 15 carries, 42 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Chad Henne. Where did he go to school, Koehler?
Michigan.
Chad Henne, 303 yards, no touchdowns. Maurice Jones-Drew, 21 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And Justin Blackman, where did he go to school?
Oklahoma State.
There you go. 14 catches for 190 yards.
Very impressive. I can't believe they covered the spread. First of all, I can't believe the spread was 28 points.
I know.
That was amazing. I would have totally put a lot of money on the Jaguars. Too bad I didn't.
Yeah, they're 0-6.
The next game,
by the way.
That's very impressive. Next game we had was the Seahawks at home, winning 20-13 over the Titans. This game was kind of a defensive battle, and Zach, you were talking about this last week. We're making picks.
I picked Tennessee because that defensive line.
They were close. That defensive line Tennessee's pretty good. I think when they get Jake Locker back, they can make some real damage.
Yeah,
right.
Nothing against Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Amish rifle. He was good in Buffalo. I don't think he really has it anymore, though.
I think he's a quality backup, really.
He is, and that's what he's used for right now. That I've been told to make sure I cover this game. It's the Patriots winning 30-27 over the Saints. They win at the a last-second play on a throw that only Tom Brady can make. Did you guys see it?
Yes.
To Kimbrel Tompkins. It was in the corner. It was
programming director Miguel Benavides and myself were standing here in the lobby. We were watching the tail end of this game, and it was an incredible throw. It was just a bullet,
right,
from about 35 yards out. Just bam.
And only I think Tom Brady, Breeze, and Peyton Manning are the only quarterbacks can make that throw.
Right.
Because there was a guy right in Kimbrel Tompkins' face.
Drew Brees, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kyrie Robinson, where did he go to school?
West Texas A&M.
That's right. 7 carries, 53 yards.
Man, if I got that one wrong, that'd be horrible.
And a touchdown. Tom Brady, 25 of 43, 269 yards and a touchdown. Stephen Ridley, 20 carries, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Saints lose their first game of the year.
No.
And also, Kenny Stills had his first career touchdown. So some young Saints, maybe the future of the Saints, getting it done. Last game, or there's one game going on. The Cowboys and Redskins are playing right now, tied at 0. But one more is the Cardinals going to Candlestick Park, and they lose 32-20.
Dallas just scored a touchdown, by the way.
Did they really? Who scored? Did you watch it?
Well, let's have a look here.
Let's see. I believe it was
Chris Collinsworth is telestrating.
I believe it was DeMarco Murray. Nope, it was Lance Dunbar.
Correct.
Something like that.
That's
3-yard.
Oh, it was DeMarco.
It was
I was
DeMarco
wrong.
Murray.
Well, hey,
for
I
about
have
5
it on
yards
fantasy,
out.
so I'll take it. So anyway, back to the Cardinals. Cardinals lose 32-20. The 49ers really have kind of found their groove again, because mind you, they were 2-2, now they're 4-2. The Cardinals fall to 3-3. Larry Fitzgerald, very interesting. A lot of people were saying he wasn't 100%, and he comes up huge with a 75-yard touchdown, which was, if you didn't see it, was awesome. He ends the game with 6 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown.
Colin Kaepernick, 16 of 29, 252, and 2 touchdowns. Frank Gore, 101 yards on 25 carries, and Vernon Davis, 8 catches for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty good. Vernon Davis is kind of a hit or miss so far this season. He either has games where he's out of his mind, like he's playing so incredibly well, or he'll have games where you don't even hear his name called. And then tomorrow night's game is going to be the Colts versus the Chargers in San Diego. We argued about Legoland last week. I was about to bring that back up, but I lost that one. So we're going to do our pick'ems. And Kit, would you like to join us on our picks? We'll add you in this week. All right, Kit's going to join us.
Kit agrees.
The Thursday night game is going to be the Seattle Seahawks going to Glendale, Arizona to take on the Cardinals. I'm taking Seahawks. I don't trust my hometown team.
Seahawks.
Oh, that's a sweep.
Man.
That wasn't even close. Then we have the Buccaneers going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. These two teams combined have 1 win. So this is pretty hard. I'm going to take the Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons.
Yeah.
Even though the Falcons did lose Julio Jones for the year, and Roddy White is expected to miss a couple
We
weeks.
are sweeping again.
Yeah, sweeping again. Next one's a battle of the big cats. We have the Bengals going to Detroit to take on the Lions. This one's
I'm
kind
taking
of a
the
toss-up.
Bengals in this one.
I'm going to take the Bengals too.
You know, I'm going to take the Lions on this. The Lions are 4-2.
And Kit's going to go with
4-2.
The split with the Lions.
Oh, so we're split on that one. Next one is a battle of, they're not bad teams, but NFC or AFC East. It's the Bills going to Miami to take on the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Agreed.
The fish with a new horrible logo.
You don't like the logo? I don't like it either, but I like the old school.
You
I
know-
like it because it at least fits with the new uniforms designs. Because the
Yeah.
old logo would look stupid.
Yeah,
with
it
the
would
new
look dumb
designs.
with the new uniforms. I understand that.
I'll take the fish on that one.
Yeah.
So we all took the fish. No trust in Thad Lewis up in Buffalo.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus Lewis. And then we have the Patriots going to New York to take on the Jets. I'm going to take Patriots on this one, even though this game usually, well, sometimes it's a good game.
All right,
sometimes
it's going to be a close game.
The Jets yet like to talk their mouth after they play the Patriots.
They do. It's going to be a close game, but I'm still going to take the Patriots on it.
We have 2, 3. That's another sweet man.
You know, I heard of something cool speaking about the Patriots.
What is it?
This season, Tom Brady has not completed a single pass. All of his completions, none of them were to receivers that he's ever had before.
Oh, wow.
His entire receiving core is new.
Until Gronkowski gets back.
Until Gronk returns.
Which he did not play again today.
His top 5 receivers he's never thrown to before this year.
I think we may struggle a little bit in this game because Amendola's hurt and maybe out.
He's always hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
He's made a glass.
It's a walking
he got
injury.
hurt again today. So,
and
who's Tom going to throw to?
Kimbrel Tompkins.
Fair.
Bill Belichick streaking down the sidelines in his hoodie.
With no sleeves.
Right.
The no-sleeve hoodie.
And then we have the Cowboys going to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Depending how tonight's game go, the Cowboys could either be 3-3 or 3-4 or 2-4. Excuse me.
Honestly, I'm going to take Philly in this one. Nick Foles is playing very well.
Well, Michael Vick might play. He suited up today, but he did not play.
Considering that Nick Foles has a better record than Michael Vick right now, and the last time we had this issue.
You think if you were Chip Kelly, you would go with Foles over Vick?
I would.
You guys would?
Yeah.
Vick has played terribly for the few games he's been in.
He had that opening day start that was pretty good.
That's pretty much been it for him.
I'm going to go Cowboys on this one.
Eagles.
Oh, 2 Eagles.
I'm going to go Cowboys with you there, Keltin.
Right. KW squared on that.
That's right. High five. Oh, yeah.
And then we have the Bears going to Washington, D.C. to take on the
Bears.
Redskins, who are still under heat for their name. We talked about this last
actually
show.
Landover, Maryland, by the way. So you know.
Oh, my goodness, Kelton. You always have to correct
take the
me.
Bears.
They're called the Washington Redskins, so I assume it's D.C.
Yeah, the Giants and the Jets play New Jersey.
That's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Put the stadium where your name is. I don't know if that's the only one.
Would you like to put a stadium in Manhattan?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I would.
I'll let you finance that then.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take the Bears.
I'm going to take the Redskins.
Redskins. And we have Kit going with?
The Bears.
The Bears.
Kelton, who'd you pick?
I said the Bears.
You said the Bears, too?
Well, I'm going to say this, though, for Washington, though, because Chicago's defense recently has been pretty terrible. And so, honestly, this is going to have to come down to which offense can execute.
Mark Trestman, baby.
Mark Trestman, the Canadian Football League style. Yeah. Next game, we have the Rams going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Ooh, this is another game where it's kind of a toss-up. I'm going to take the Panthers based on how well they played this week on the road.
Cam Newton looked good this week.
He did look good this week. He threw 3 touchdowns and rushed 1. Yep.
I'm going to take the Rams just because their defense looks so good.
I'm going to take the Carolina Cam Newtons on that one.
Cam Newton. That reminds me, I saw some article where an artist made all these logos and new team names for the Redskins, and one of them was the Griffins. And they had the logo, and it was just RG3 looking the same way as the Redskin. I thought that was funny.
Nice.
And then we have the Chargers going to Jacksonville, take on the Jaguars. I'm going to go Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. I know Kelton hates Phillip Rivers.
I hate Phillip Rivers. You know, but it's not just because I hate Phillip Rivers. It's probably about 97% because I hate Phillip Rivers, but I honestly think that Jacksonville might be due for a win. I'm going to take the Jaguars on this one.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and take the Jags.
Kelton, 0-16 is a lot harder than 16-0.
Right.
So, Jaguars.
Oh, wow. 2 guys.
I'll take the Jaguars as well. Ooh. It's the Chargers. What? It's Phillip Rivers. If anybody's going to lose to the 0-6 team, it's going to be the Chargers. Or Houston.
And then the next game is kind of a defensive battle. It's going to be the 49ers going to Nashville to take on the Titans. I'm going to go 49ers.
That one's a tough one. I'm going to go...
Niners are in their groove.
You know, yeah, but I think the Titans will rebound.
You think so?
Yeah. I think they've lost 2 straight. I think they'll rebound. Mike Munchak is a lot better than that.
Zach, you've taken the Titans like back-to-back weeks.
And it's killed you both times.
Let me think about it real quick.
49ers.
Kid with the 49ers.
You know what? I'm going to give Tennessee one more shot. And I'll say the Titans.
One more leap
I believe
of faith.
in the AFC.
And then, Kit, who do you have?
Niners. The Niners, yeah.
And then we have the Browns going up to Lambeau to take on the Packers. Both teams have 3 wins.
Packers.
I'm going to go Packers.
Team Tundra.
That means Packers.
If Whedon starts, the Packers. If not, the Browns.
Man, Zach is pulling out upsets all over the place. And then this is the battle of Keltin versus Zach. We have the Texans going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Let me guess. Kelton's going to go with the Texans and Zach's going with the Chiefs?
Probably not, at least from my perspective. Zach's a little dejected right now, so I wouldn't blame him if he picked the Texans to lose. Not saying that you should, but I wouldn't blame you. I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this one.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
With the way Arrowhead Stadium was today, holy cow. And nobody's going to go in there and win.
How they're playing on both sides is very impressive.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to kick myself in the stomach later. I'm going to say Houston's going to win. And this is why. The last 4 weeks in a row, I've said Houston's, or no, except for today, I think. I said Houston was going to lose, and they lost. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say they're going to win. So hopefully they'll actually win.
That's having faith.
I'm going to go with the Midwest team.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
And then the next one, we have one of the better
Taylor,
rivalries.
who did you pick?
I took the Chiefs. I said it right after you.
All right.
We have the kind of one of the better rivalries in the NFL. It's going to be the Ravens and the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Ravens.
I'll go Steelers.
Ravens. The Pittsburghers going to play better because they always play well against the Ravens. But
Exactly. And they got their first win today. And then the last one on Sunday is going to be Peyton's return to Indy as the Broncos take on the Colts. If I'm going to go upset, I'm going to say Colts. Basically, or this is why, because they've beaten the Seahawks and the Niners, so they can roll with the best of them.
One's at home and one's on the road. Denver's pretty good, man.
They are good.
Denver's pretty darn good.
I'm not going to lie, but
yeah, San Francisco and Seattle are not Denver. Denver's pretty darn good.
I think Denver's defense is not nearly as good as Seattle and 49ers,
Correct.
and Andrew Luck kind of tore them up. So
Von Miller will be back though.
Yeah,
it's so tough. It's his first game back though, so I'm still sticking with the Colts.
I'm going to take Denver on that one because it kind of leads into the next question that I'm going to ask you.
I'm going to take the young guys in Indianapolis.
Oh wow.
I'm going to say the Colts in the upset.
Wow,
man.
So 3 of us for the Colts. And then the Monday night game is going to be the Vikings going to New Jersey to take on the New York Giants.
Koehler, you're the Vikings fan.
I know.
So
I really want to say Vikings, but based on how poorly they played today, it's going to be hard. I'll take the Vikings because they're my team.
Giants are 0-6, man.
Yeah, but we're 1-4. I don't know what you're expecting from us.
Did the bye week score 2 touchdowns on you?
Yes.
I'm going to take the Giants in this one.
Giants?
Yeah.
Zachary?
I'm going to say they're going to get their first win.
I think Minnesota.
Minnesota?
I just have to ask a question, being the new guy in here.
Okay.
Being from Phoenix,
I am.
how are you a
Okay,
Vikings fan?
I've explained this multiple times. Growing up, the Arizona Cardinals were awful. They were the worst part about Phoenix, and they played in ASU Stadium, and I just never had respect for them. So I used to just fly around. I'd pick teams by season, and then I finally I'm going to pick one. I'm going to stick with it, and I picked the Vikings.
Fair. Okay.
It's not like I was raised to be a Vikings fan. My family doesn't really care about NFL. Like, my grandparents love the Cowboys, but I just picked the Vikings because I liked them.
Well, my team
Who is your
not
team?
even close to being from where I'm from. So
Let's see. You are from Iowa, correct?
Right.
So I don't know your team. Who is it?
the Oakland Raiders.
Oakland Raiders. Why'd you pick them?
It was interesting on the ride home today.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes.
He was rooting
But
for the
Jamal
Raiders.
Charles scored 2 touchdowns
He did.
and he's on my fantasy team. So,
So you're like, you're like, we'll lose.
Mad. But I did dress up as Al Davis
For
for Halloween one year.
I've seen the picture. It's awesome.
And Kelton has seen the picture. It is on Facebook.
It's awesome.
So you looked like a zombie, pretty much.
I even had the little.
The chain glasses.
chain.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
that's
painted
awesome.
My hair black. And so it was pretty good.
It was awesome.
solid.
That's pretty awesome.
Here's
But
my
I've been a
next.
Raiders fan. I'm sorry. I've been a Raiders fan since I was 5 because I like the colors.
Oh yeah, those are
And
good colors
so-
to have.
Right.
That's
simple but so awesome.
yes.
Yeah. Here's my next question for everybody in here. The Saints lost today. There's now 2 undefeated teams in the National Football League, both of them out of the AFC West. The Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Who loses first?
I would say
coming
the
up
Colts.
next-
The Colts. Since were you gonna talk this later?
Well, coming up next for Denver is Indianapolis, Washington, San Diego, Kansas City, New England, Kansas City, Titans, San Diego, Houston, and Oakland. And for the Chiefs, coming up next would be Houston, Browns, Buffalo, Broncos, San Diego, Denver, Washington, Oakland, Indianapolis, and San Diego.
I'm gonna say the Broncos because I have them losing to the Colts next week.
Right. I mean, the rest of you guys picked the Denver to lose to the Colts, yeah.
But hopefully they. Well, not
Right.
hopefully.
Well, let's say that Denver does win.
but hopefully the Chiefs lose next week.
Shut up. And
I'll say that if the Colts lose to the Broncos,
Right.
I mean, it's going to be when they play each other.
right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of hope they're undefeated when they play each other.
Right.
That'd be kind of
That'd
cool.
be pretty cool. November 17th.
Is that a flex game yet?
I don't believe so. They might make it one. I don't
Because
know.
if they're both undefeated, that needs to be prime time.
Yeah.
I would think.
It
Yeah.
does.
If it's able to be a flex.
November 17th at Sports Authority Field at Mile High in Denver.
Okay.
So it's exciting.
Last time I
Exciting.
was there, it was in Vesco.
Right. Last time I was there, it was Mile High.
All right, so we're going to be right back. Another thanks to not to Unsportsmanlike Conduct. That's us
Thanking ourselves.
to Premier Community Management for underwriting Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Premier Community Management offers a variety of services to homeowner associations throughout Central Arizona and can be located online at premieraz.com. And we'll be right back. We're going to talk some baseball, Heisman update, Sunday punch, and then some out of bounds, and the show will be done pretty much. We're already through the first hour, so make sure you keep it tuned in to the 91.1 station for your generation. The struggle is real, you guys. I don't know how, but somehow I put a music bed in with all of our promos and sweepers.
That happens.
It happens.
That
the best
happens.
way. It doesn't matter. It was a good time to come back. So this is Unsportsmanlike Conduct, the longest running show on the 191.1. I'm Koehler. I'm on mic 1/the board. Mic 2, we have Keltin Wiens.
Heyo.
And then on mic 3 is Zach.
Yo.
And you guys just missed it. Our special guest host, Kit Streif, just left. He'd be very proud I got his name right.
You did.
He said if I got
Good
it
for
wrong
you.
again, he'd fire me. So that's not good. We did get a text in. If you do want to call into the show, make sure you do so at 806-651-2911. We'd love your opinion on stuff. I did get a text in from a listener who's driving back right now. Dustin Vaughn is not on the show. It was just Kit this week. Hopefully one day we'll get Dustin in here. Hopefully. But so before we left, we said we're going to do a Heisman update after this weekend. You guys, I think number one right now has got to be Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Because everybody said that this game against Washington, at Washington, it was on the road. They said this would be the game that he falls off and he loses the Heisman. And he was magnificent.
He came
Right.
out and said, watch this.
He threw for 380 yards. He rushed for 88. He had 3 throwing and 1 rushing touchdown. And mind you, this is against a top 25 team with a top 10 defense.
The interesting thing about Marcus Mariota is that College Game Day was in Seattle on Saturday. And I love looking at all the signs, and one of the signs said Mariota uses bendy straws. So apparently he uses bendy straws.
Some of those are the greatest
I know.
signs.
They were interviewing Lane Kiffin, and this is a little bit mean, but it said, "Remember
that
when
one.
Lane Kiffin had a job?"
Yeah. My favorite one was I can't remember. Oh, it was the Bama A&M game. And somebody had a sign, and all it was Johnny Manziel's autograph, like magnified, so it was huge, just in the background. So that was pretty funny. At number 2, you guys, I would really, my personal opinion, you guys, if you have any players you want to throw in, absolutely go through. I really think Brent Hundley was in it, and now I kind of fall off a little bit on him. What do you guys, your feelings on that? UCLA quarterback?
I haven't really seen anything from him that impressed me.
Yeah,
too much.
not really.
I don't have my number 2, not per se, but I mean, he's the second one I'm listing. I really had high hopes for him, and he's kind of fallen off as recently. Another guy that was I had high hopes on.
It's difficult if you're a Pac-12 quarterback to really make an impact unless you are freaking amazing, like Andrew Luck was, or like Marcus Mariota is.
Exactly, it's hard. One of the front runners that he won and he had okay stats was Taj Boyd out of Clemson. They beat Boston College, but it wasn't really pretty. He only threw, I think, for 1 touchdown, and he rushed 1. Or he might have thrown 2. So he really fell off, too. Famous Jameis Winston, I believe, had a bye this week, so he didn't get to play. And a lot of people are going to say Manziel should be up here. I agree. He did win again, and he did get hurt, and he came back, so I will keep him in the conversation for Heisman. But as of right now, I don't think he's going to win it because he's had kind of mediocre stats against mediocre teams. So I'm going to keep him out of it. And then my preseason pick that I did on the show was Lech Shunk out of Baylor, and he completely fell off this week. He had 11 yards per carry average before this game, and he averaged 4.1 against Kansas State. Kelton, were you able to see that game, or you were in Tarleton? So
I watched a little bit of that game. I didn't get to see much of it, no.
Yeah, so it was kind of struggling. Do you guys have any other players you want to throw into the mix?
Not really.
Not really.
Covered all the bases.
Yeah, we're getting down into we're getting into the meat of the conference schedule here, and I still think it's a little too early. A year ago, we didn't think that Johnny Manziel was going to win the Heisman either.
We were all on that Geno Smith train.
We were all on the Geno Smith train, baby.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
I dragged you onto it. Just kidding. I know. Zach was against it from the beginning. All right, so now we're going to go into the hardest hitting segment in sports. It's time for the Sunday Punch.
Oh, yeah.
I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick. All of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you. I know you got him. I know you got him picked. But the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Thank you, Muhammad Ali.
How great are you, Koehler?
I think I'm pretty great. I mean, I don't want to sound conceited, but I mean,
well, you're wrong. No.
I'm trying. That was to motivate me up.
Okay. You still have a chance.
All right, so this is the hardest hitting segment in sports, Sunday Punch. Who's got a good one? Anybody?
I do.
Zach, roll with it.
Let's hear it, Zach.
Okay, so you guys know, and those of y'all that have been listening for especially for the past couple weeks, know that, my opinion with Matt Schaub, he's playing as well as he can. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's playing very well with what he has. He now has a very young he has a very young half of a receiving core, and he has a very old part of a receiving core. And it showed today nobody could catch the stinking ball or hold on to the ball for that.
Right.
And, when I was listening to the game against the Rams during the first quarter, they were talking about how Matt Schaub doesn't live in a gated community or anything like that, and some quote fans went to his house and vandalized and did all sorts of whateverness, and
which is wrong.
It's very wrong.
Ridiculous.
You got to remember, it is a game.
I mean, that's what that's part of what I was thinking. I was like, okay, it's a game. It's a very expensive game. It's a game that makes a lot of people a lot of money or loses a lot of people a lot of money.
The thing that sucks for Matt Schaub, though, is that Houston was going to be good this year.
They were.
Super Bowl for Houston. It was
going
to be that year.
I mean, it's still very early. We're only 4 losses.
I mean, you can finish 12-4.
We can still definitely finish strong. It's just as long as we play the division well and play the West well, then we'll be okay. But, guys, where does it become too far? I'm just kind of general question because apparently that's.
I think that's too far.
I mean, I know it's tough. Trust me, I was there ever since Houston started. It's been tough. It's very tough, and it's really hard to go from, holy cow, we have a Super Bowl potential team here, to going, starting 2-0 and then losing 4 straight. And it's just like, I know it's tough. He's doing everything right. Arian Foster hasn't been playing well at all to start the season until today. The defense has been playing halfway decent. Secondary has been giving up a lot of stupid stuff. Special teams, we've been fumbling the ball like crazy. Wide receivers have been dropping balls like nothing. I mean, it's just like, why are we picking on him? He's the only one that's really been doing anything right and has been doing anything consistently. J.J. Watt didn't do a dang thing today. He literally did nothing. I mean, like...
I imagine he did a little bit more than nothing.
Brian Cushing didn't do anything. Neither of them had a good game. The Rams pretty much just held us up. And was
where's Gary Kubiak in all this?
I don't know.
He's got to get some heat, too.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, really? I mean, granted, yeah, Kubiak brought us to where we are. But this is where him...
been the only coach the franchise
and
has
his
ever
team
had.
captains need to take control and be like, okay, guys, this is ridiculous. We're way too good for this. And, of course, it was stupid that we let go to Trenton Holiday last year, which was a stupid decision as soon as I saw it. I was like, that was stupid. Yeah.
And Jacoby.
Well, Jacoby, I was okay with that just because he's stupid. I mean,
hey, that guy was on
Jacoby,
Dancing with the Stars. How dare you?
only Jacoby Jones would field a punt at the 1-yard line while there's 2 guys staring him in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, I was okay with that one just because he's dumb.
Now, I have a problem with your statement. You said Kubiak got us to where we are now. I think that's a misleading kind of I'm trying to think, like, mindset to use, because Texas fans are saying that about Mac Brown. There's a certain point where coaches can't really say their past achievements. They need to say what they're doing wrong now. They need to accept failure at some level.
Yeah.
Because right now they're 2-4, and they were a Super Bowl favorite. Not to say the top favorite, but they were some people's pick to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I would say I think coaching really needs to come into play here really badly.
Wade Phillips needs to kick his defense in the rear and say, guys, what the heck are we doing?
That's
their another one.
Wide receivers coach, because we talked about earlier how their wide receivers are just waiting for the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Schaub can only do so much. He can get the ball in the air, but it's your job to go and get it.
Right.
To pick
if
it
you
up.
just sit there and wait, it's going to be a pick every time.
Right, absolutely.
And you're going to make your quarterback look bad, and you're just going to be the one that goes, oh, no, you threw a bad pass.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, go get the ball.
Yeah, your job is to go. You're paid millions of dollars. Go and get it. Kelton, that was a good Sunday punch.
That was a good Sunday punch. Good job.
Ah, boy.
Knuckles on that one. There you go.
After I've had
I'll give you
some
knuckles.
pretty pathetic ones.
Okay. I might be ruining a future segment of the show, but I don't really care. I'm going to go down the top 25 of college football right now. The brand new top 25 in college football right now. Alabama number 1, Oregon 2. This is the AP poll, by the way. Clemson 3, Ohio State 4, Florida State 5. LSU 6, Texas A&M 7, Louisville 8, UCLA 9, and Miami of Florida 10. South Carolina 11, Baylor 12, Stanford 13, Missouri 14, Georgia 15, Texas Tech 16, Fresno State, Oklahoma, Virginia Tech, Washington is 20, Oklahoma State, Florida, Northern Illinois, Auburn, and Wisconsin. And now, for those of you out there who may not have been keeping track of that, that's 8. Count them 8 SEC teams in the top 25 in the nation. Auburn got in this week, and it set a school record for the most schools from a single conference in the AP top 25. Now, this rant is twofold here. Georgia loses at home to Missouri. Georgia drops 8 spots, and Missouri climbs 11. They were 25th, now they're 14th in the nation. I think that's a little unjustified. Georgia's a good team, yes.
Georgia's 4-2. They shouldn't be 15 in the first place.
Right. Auburn gets in. Now, here's the interesting thing. Here's Auburn's schedule. They open the season against Washington State. They win 31-24. They beat Arkansas State, which is basically a synonym for roast beef tech, 38-9. They beat Mississippi State, unranked Mississippi State, 24-20. They lose to LSU the next week, 35-21. Ole Miss, 30-22, and then they beat Western Carolina, 62-3. They lost to LSU, which is foreseeable, and then they beat a 24th ranked Ole Miss, which you ranted on last week, that people really need to shut up about Ole Miss because The recruiting class is fantastic, but they should have beat Texas A&M last night.
Oh, they had that game in the pocket.
And
granted, their starting quarterback was out for a little bit of time.
Right.
And their defense had some guys hurt.
I don't think that Auburn could really be in the rankings right
There's
now.
no point for them to be there. Like, literally, they're going to get into... Oh, wait, never mind. This is your second.
Well, I agree. There's no point. They play Texas A&M next week. They're going to lose. They're going to drop out of the rankings.
Now, you don't know that for sure, though. A&M, I think,
It's at
is
Kyle
beatable.
Field.
I think they're
all
beatable.
their losses in the SEC have been at home.
Yeah. Whenever they can't win at home in big games. I don't know how big of a game this is.
I don't think that's going to be a big
It won't be,
game.
But if they beat Auburn, it'll be their first win against a ranked opponent with Manziel as their quarterback.
Right.
In the Kevin Sumlin era. So, you never know.
Here's the interesting thing. The SEC is responsible for the largest jumps in the poll. LSU, 10th ranked in the nation, beat Florida, 17th ranked in the nation this last week. Florida is still ranked, by the way. LSU climbs 4 spots. Texas A&M climbs 2 spots for squeaking out a win against an unranked team.
Don't agree with that one.
Let's see. South Carolina jumps 3 spots for laying the wood on Arkansas.
At homecoming.
Stanford drops 8 spots for losing to an unranked Utah team, probably foreseeable. I still can't understand the Missouri jump 11 spots.
Oh, that's a lot.
To 14 after beating Georgia, who is a good team, at home. I think Missouri might be a little overrated on that. I think they might be a little
Georgia's
generous.
been their first big game.
Right.
Really their only one.
Right. Florida drops 5 spots from losing to LSU, which I also think is a little unjustified. So the top 25, man, AP, get it together, dude.
Yeah. That was a good one,
Koehler?
Mine's not really a bad rant. It's a kind of a encouraging rant. It's about Adrian Peterson. If you didn't hear, I won't go into a lot of detail, but his 2-year-old son passed away after he was beaten by the mother's boyfriend. But Adrian Peterson, if there's ever a person in this world that deserves to have success at whatever he does, it's Adrian Peterson. When he was 5 years old, he saw his brother get hit by a drunk driver right in front of him. And then when he was 12, his father went to jail for laundering money, and he didn't get to see him again until he was a junior at Oklahoma. So he went through a long period without like a father. And then the night before his NFL combine, his half-brother, I believe, was murdered. I don't know if he was shot, but he was murdered before the combine. Adrian Peterson still went to the combine, and I believe he had like an incredible 40 time. I can't remember what it was. It's absolutely amazing. But for a guy that's gone through so much, to have that kind of success and anything is amazing, let alone professional sports. And then I was kind of, this is a bad rant. I'm going to say it. The Vikings, you guys are my team, but if there was ever a game you need to win for your best player, it was this one. He just lost his son this week, and he decides to play the game. If he didn't play, nobody would say anything about it. That is within his right, because that is a traumatic event to live through. And you lose 35-10 to the Carolina Panthers. Your best player just lost one of his sons, and you guys came up with that kind of effort, and you were at home. Really? I mean, he came to the game still, and you guys couldn't even put up much of an effort against Cam Newton and the Panthers.
I agree, Koehler.
When I saw the score, I was just like, wow, Adrian Peterson shouldn't have even came to this game.
But
he didn't deserve this.
Speaking of playing and not playing, the Jadeveon Clowney of saga has got to be the biggest load of garbage.
Are you against Clowney?
I am against Clowney.
He's
because
hurt.
He's hurt. Okay,
and he's a commodity.
But guess what?
Remember.
Everybody else on that team who's have a significant playing time is hurt. And whenever you get into season, you will never be 100%. And I think he's a freak athlete, but I don't understand what the big deal is. If he gets double teamed and he doesn't like it, well, maybe he should find a way to get around the double team. Or maybe he should try to play for the betterment of his team.
Right.
Maybe. If he had a single shred at all of team unity, he would play. He has no respect for his team, and his team should have no respect for him for taking himself out of the lineup.
So
and he started yesterday because I guess he chose to start.
How do you feel about Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose sat out the entire year, even when doctors said he was able to play.
That was really frustrating for me to watch. I was like, dude, you're clear. Go help your guys out. They're still in a playoff situation.
But I feel the same way.
But I'm kind of on the side of Derrick Rose and Clowney. Rose especially, because he had a really gruesome knee injury, so that one I can understand. And AP is a animal. He's a freak of nature.
He worked.
But Rose didn't want to come in and give only 50% of what he could be. He wanted to wait until he was 100%. He wanted to come back when he was the MVP Derrick Rose that Chicago fans love. I respect that. He didn't want to come out and show an injured or a damaged product. I would rather have Derrick Rose wait a year and then come back his explosive self than him rush back and possibly get hurt even worse.
But that's a selfish decision. I don't want to be back until I'm awesome.
He does it for the future of his team. Because let's face it,
they could have gone to an NBA Finals that year.
I think he did the right thing, because if you're competing with the Heat, you have to be 100%. Even if he was back, he would be no help to them.
There's no such thing as 100% in the season, especially
there
that
is,
late in the season.
You can. There is some sparks where you can be 100%, and he wants to come back at 100%. Now, energy-wise or your mentality might be 100%, but physically, I believe you have to wait till you are 100%. Now, Clowney, I've heard stories that
Clowney took himself out of the lineup, which I have a big problem with. Derrick Rose, maybe not so much. But he took himself out of the lineup, which I have a huge problem with.
I think that's a draft move, probably.
It is a draft move, and it's got to be the most selfish thing I've ever seen. I can't believe that anybody in that South Carolina locker room has any more respect for him. If he's hurt, he's hurt. If he's injured, he's injured. He can't really play. But everybody else is trying to play through some form of injury. I'm not on the medical staff. I'm not Jadeveon Clowney, so I don't know.
You don't know what happens behind closed doors.
What the extent of his rib injury is. But I do know that
Jason
could
played with broken ribs.
That he could have played last week. And I lost I didn't have much respect for him to begin with, but I lost a lot of it.
Now,
last week.
Question would be, if you're an NFL team, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are most likely going to get the number 1 pick, would you take Jadeveon Clowney based on this story?
No.
No?
Not just based on the story. Honestly, Jacksonville's defense is fairly set to go. They actually have a pretty halfway decent defense. What they need right now is somebody that can throw the ball, that can catch the ball,
and protect
that can
the
block,
ball.
that can run without fumbling the ball, because Jones-Drew's getting old.
Right.
Yeah, Jacksonville's offense is pretty terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
They need the offense. Their defense is actually pretty set for the future.
Now, here's why I agree. I would not take him number 1 overall. But here's why. His first game against North Carolina, he had, quote, a sickness.
Right.
And he didn't play to his full capabilities, his full potential. I understand that, and that's fine. But there are some games where he was completely healthy, where some plays he just gives up. He just flat out gives up. I don't know if he doesn't have enough in the tank or he just doesn't care, but he is not playing like a number 1 pick should be. Number 1 picks, every single play, they should be going all out.
He wants every hit to be like the hit in the Outback Bowl.
And I agree.
And it's not going to happen.
That hit in the Outback Bowl has literally made this Jadeveon Clowney saga. Because ultimately, nobody knew who he was until that hit.
See, I'm a big fan of his because I heard about him when he was in college, and I watched a lot of his YouTube tapes before he was in.
He's still in college.
Oh, I mean, his high school tapes.
Oh, okay.
His high school ones.
Where did he go to high school?
In South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
So he was a home state product.
This guy's good.
I've been watching him. Dude, I'm a database. So I've been watching his highlights for a while, and I was a big fan of his. But yeah, he's not giving his effort on every play. And if he really committed himself to it, he could be probably one of the best defensive players we've seen in college football.
Yeah,
he really could
he's
be.
definitely got the talent for it. He just got to get out of this mental rut of I'm the greatest thing ever. So
he
is not God's gift to the defensive line.
Right.
That's it.
And another thing is
he's an outstanding athlete. I'm going to give him that.
Right.
He is. We all hate Johnny Manziel in here, but he's a fantastic athlete. He's hard to turn off whenever he gets on television.
If you play college sports, you're a terrific athlete. I mean, you are.
Regardless.
Yeah, no matter what level you're on, you're an athlete. But I don't know. Clowney, then I think this year also you see him give up a little more because he's not used to double teams.
Right.
No. He was used to the single, I'm just going to blow past this guy. and now it's a little more double team. So those were good Sunday punches,
They
you
were.
guys.
We had like
we had a
five.
we had actually a debate going here.
Yeah,
All right,
we've been pretty subdued this whole season, haven't we?
because we don't have Champy here to make us mad.
I know, right?
Or Adam to get in fights about fighting.
So that's going to do it for this segment. We're going to come back. We're going to do Out of Bounds. Oh, we need to talk playoff baseball. We forgot to do that with
We
Kit.
need to do a little playoff baseball.
Well, that's
playoff-
okay. His Pirates are kind of not there anymore. So
He's a Pirates fan too?
He is a
Yeah.
Pirates fan.
So it's just kind of people with eye patches that he's a fan of.
well, the
Wait,
Yeah.
wait for Kelton to get it. There he goes. There he goes.
Yeah. I understand it.
On a whole new
It's
level.
okay. All right.
For
Kit
those who can't understand the Raiders logo,
Has
he's
an
wearing
eye
an eye
patch.
patch. So does the Pittsburgh Pirates logo.
Yes. And just so that way you know, if you're making this connection in your head, Kit does not have an eye patch. He's got two perfectly healthy,
Yeah.
functioning eyes.
That's not why he's a.
That's not why he's a fan of teams with eye patches. Just so you know.
way to
That
go.
was fantastic. All right, so that's going to do it for that segment. Like I said, when we come back, we'll do playoff baseball. We might do some fantasy football. I don't know if we have time. Well, hopefully, we'll get plenty of time for it. And then we're going to do some out of bounds, wackiest stories, and all of sports. So make sure you keep it tuned in to the 91.1 station for your generation. Every time we play that, it's always a little.
It's a dance,
Dance
party. It's fantastic.
Welcome back to the 91.1 station for your generation. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct, the longest running show on station history. We make records, you guys. We make records.
Just like the Kansas City Chiefs.
shut up over there.
Crowd.
I'm Koehler Wendt. I'm sports director here for the radio station. I'm on mic 1/the board. We'll flip it around. Mic 3 is Zach Barnes.
Hi. I didn't expect that. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, we got to come up with something funny to say.
And Kelton's all
And-
upset over there. Kelton's on mic 2.
If you are looking for something to do on Saturday night, yours truly and Mr. Cale Velasquez will have coverage of the WT football game right here on KWTS, the 191.1
Or you can be
FM.
cool and actually go to the game.
Nice plug.
Or you can take a radio to the game too. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to the Tarleton State WT game last night while I was standing on the sidelines, and it was fantastic. You know, while I was walking back and forth on the sideline, and I had all this radio commentary going, and stuff like that. It was a good way to watch a football game.
Nice.
It really was, to have radio going in the background.
That must be nice.
It is.
So before we went to the break, we said we were going to talk some playoff baseball. It's starting to get the play. It's not on here yet, but we have a great promo.
It's fantastic.
Miguel, I'm calling you out. If it's not
Yeah.
on by the next show, what could we do? He's our boss.
But a big big shout out does go to Johnny Broadcasting this week, because our
computers
our
crashed.
computer basically bit it. So
It's we have a new computer.
we
Bit
do
it
have a
and
new
quit it.
computer, and so big shout out to Johnny for getting us back on the air. So thank
That's
you.
the first time that's actually
Worked-
happened
they
ever
worked-
since we moved into this building.
They
Right.
worked
We've
very
never had a
hard.
computer
Yeah.
crash or anything
Right.
like that.
It was a lot of work to get it back on air,
Yeah,
but
it
we
was.
appreciate
Lot
it.
of work.
So playoff baseball, getting back to it, it's starting to get in the dramatic. Anytime you're in playoffs, it can be dramatic, but this is where it starts getting close. Like, we're starting to see the World Series picture.
This is when I
The
actually watched
LCS.
this.
Yeah, the
This is
LCS.
when 90% of baseball viewers watch baseball. We're in the championship series right now. Very impressively, the Cardinals have a 2-0 lead going to LA against the Dodgers. I don't know if you guys were able to watch any of these, but St. Louis's pitching has been phenomenal.
Yep.
I can't even.
Been great.
Michael Wacha is a rookie for the Cardinals, and he pitched.
Waka.
I was so
they
about to
play.
do
They
that.
play. Have you seen that? They play that at the game.
Really?
Yeah. They
Nice.
have signs and stuff for him. But he pitched a shutout in his first playoff, or no, his second playoff appearance. Excuse me. But absolutely phenomenal. And they have a 2-0 lead going back to LA. And the Dodgers, I think, are on the ropes because I think Hanley Ramirez has been banged up.
Right.
So I think they're on the ropes. So look out for the Cardinals there.
I really hope the Dodgers pull that one out.
No, we don't want the Dodgers act. They jumped in the pool.
And you want to know why?
Because they jumped in the pool.
You want to know why they jumped in the pool, Koehler?
Because they're classless.
Because it's hot.
Because it's hot in Arizona. That's correct.
It was like, first of all, it's indoors. Chase Stadium has a retractable roof and air
doesn't
conditioning.
matter.
No.
Anyways,
we want
the
Dodgers
to win because they have Michael Young. I want Michael Young to actually, have a successful something in his career.
Isn't Michael Young on the Phillies?
No, he's on the
him?
Dodgers now.
See, I haven't been paying attention. I didn't even know that. That's news to me.
I know something about baseball that you don't. Woo!
Ding, 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 ding. We need we should get an alarm soundbite on here. And then the other series.
How about candy for you, Zachary?
You got candy. And the other game is the Detroit Tigers and the Boston Red Sox. They're actually playing right now.
Right now.
And the Tigers are winning 1-0
I hate both of those
in
teams.
Fenway. And last night they won 1-0 after a great game by Anibal Sanchez.
If Detroit wins tonight, they will have a 3-0 lead in the ALCS.
No, they'll have 2. They're playing game 2 right now.
No, they're not.
Are they not?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Good try, Kelton.
They're playing game 2 right now. So if they win, they'll go back and they have 2-0 advantage going home.
Correct. Which could be huge.
And I don't know.
Last night was interesting because we had 2 baseball games, and first time ever that 2 playoff baseball games, 2 league championship games, ended in 1-0. The visiting team getting the win in one, with Detroit and Boston, and the home team getting the win in the other.
Right.
In the 13th, right?
I believe
the
so.
bottom of the 13th, yeah.
Yes. But absolutely incredible. This has been very dramatic. I was watching the Dodgers and the Cardinals game. The Dodgers had a man on third, and there was a pop fly to, you could say it was medium, like right center. It wasn't very deep. And Carlos Beltran calls off John Jay in center field. He catches it and throws an absolute bullet home that sends him into extra innings.
That was awesome.
Right.
You saw it?
That was awesome.
Yes. Everyone's like, he doesn't have that great of an arm. Carlos Beltran might be one of the greatest playoff performers in MLB history. He is an animal when it comes to the playoffs. You cannot stop him.
Let me say this, Koehler, you are far and away the baseball expert out of the 3 of us in here.
I wouldn't say an expert. Prodigy, maybe.
I enjoy baseball. I do,
Right.
I really do, but it's not my first love, and
Of course.
Zach's has to do with hockey.
You both grew up in areas where it's not very popular.
Right.
Hey, I
And
had the prairie dogs.
well, and so you're far and away the expert of baseball in here, but for me, it's something about playoff baseball that just
got a
makes
charm
it.
to it.
It just makes it fun to watch.
It does.
You never. I don't.
And I think
with like
It's a
playoff-
little cheesy, but you don't feel any more American
when you're watching,
than whenever you're watching.
unless
playoff
you're
baseball.
drinking a beer with some apple pie, then you're America.
Well, I think like part of what makes playoff baseball awesome, because like regular season, it's just like, oh, there's 180 of these, and so it's whatever. But when you hit playoffs, it's like, okay, this really, really amounts to something.
Yeah, like game 1 it matters as much as game 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can explain this. Playoff baseball crowds are incredible.
Right.
I've been able to be a member of a couple Diamondback ones. They are awesome. You hope they're sold out. Usually they are very difficult to get tickets for because they sell out so fast. But it's like I was watching the Pirates game. The Pirates and the Indians, I thought, had the best crowds in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they both lost.
And the best thing about the playoffs is that there's not, is that the baseball playoffs are pretty exclusive. So there's no, Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's better than. I think basketball is the worst playoffs.
Right. Because it takes 2 months.
It does. It takes forever.
And baseball, they're just a lot of fun, and there's no Miami Marlins in it, and
yes, there's no teams that squeak in.
The terrible teams in baseball really clog it up.
And that's that's when a lot of people say they need to shorten the season. I think the length of the season really proves who's good and who's bad. But I agree, 162 is
games?
bad. I would cut it down by maybe 50.
Yeah, well, maybe like the length of time.
Yes.
in the season. I think if they were going to do, I think the wild card round, the 1-game wild card round, I think is quite honestly a little bit of a joke.
Right.
I'd be okay with a 5-game series.
Yeah.
And the counter argument there is, well, where are you going to put it? I was like, you play 162 games. Surely you can shave a few of those off. Start the playoffs in the middle of September.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe, like a week or so left in September.
And football has a good atmosphere to playoffs. I feel, I don't know, just there's something about playoff baseball. Like I said, the Indians and the Pirates, they usually are not playoff contenders. So when you saw them in the playoffs, their crowd was going nuts.
My teams are normally not in playoff baseball, yet year after year I continually watch playoff baseball.
And I think it's because playoff baseball has also had a lot of dramatic. I think it's more easy to have a clutch performance in baseball than it is the other ones.
Yeah.
You can say that Game 6 in the NBA Finals where Ray Allen hit that unbelievable shot to send him to Game 7 or to send him to overtime. You can say that wasn't one of the greatest shots in basketball history. That's true. But I mean, think about like the Kirk Gibson home run, the Reggie Jackson 3 home runs, the Pablo Sandoval 3 home runs. There's
the David Freese home run.
That was the most. I was watching it in this very station with several Ranger fans, and when I saw him hit that triple that scored it, I was going insane. They're all mad, and I'm losing my mind. I'm like, they were one strike away from losing.
Twice.
Yes, they were one strike twice from losing the World Series, and they come back and win it. It was absolutely incredible.
There's you mentioned it. There's just fantastic sports moments in baseball.
It's more than others.
Even the Diamondbacks walking off in Game 7.
My parents were there.
Of the World Series to beat the New York Yankees in 2001.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And I think it's the storylines usually. There's storylines to everything that the Diamondbacks hit.
Because baseball is a slow game and there's so much garbage to sift through in a single game, at least from a broadcasting standpoint.
Right.
There's so much stuff that happens.
And
so you can really dial in and focus on some really specific storylines and make it very special and very personal.
Absolutely. And that's what I was going to say. The storylines to it, that Diamondbacks one you mentioned, unfortunately, my parents didn't take me to it, even though they had 4 tickets. But it was incredible. It was because Diamondbacks were the fastest No, we're not mentioning him. We're not mentioning him. They were the fastest expansion team to reach the World Series. They're going against the evil Empire Yankees. You had the September 11th attacks that kind of pushed the playoffs back a little bit. And it was the greatest closer in baseball history. And that kind of solidified Phoenix.
Yeah,
as
it was, and also
town.
It was, I think it was in that game. Randy Johnson came in with no day, with 0 rest, and pitched fantastic into the game.
Just incredible.
It was Randy Johnson and Mariano Rivera, and walk off.
I remember
what was it? It was a walk off.
The bases were loaded. And Luis Gonzalez hits the ball, and it bloops. It just falls right past Derek Jeter.
Right.
Just right over him. And Jay Bell comes in.
Walk-off single, yeah.
Yeah. And they have that playing on a loop. If you go through the main entrance of Chase Stadium, they have this big shrine to the 2001 championship. They have Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson's jerseys in there because they were the co-MVPs. And then they have a video screen of that game just on loop all the time. And right under it is the trophy.
Right.
So it's incredible.
That's kind of
cool. Yeah. But again, you don't see that in basketball, do you?
Yeah.
You don't see that in football.
And it almost seems like the Commissioner's Trophy is what they play for in baseball, and it almost seems like there's not so much of an emphasis on getting the trophy. In football, it's all about the Lombardi Trophy or the Crystal Football.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the Crystal or the Commissioner's Trophy is good and everything like that, but it's
nothing like the pennant,
right,
or the World Series trophy with all the flags. That's awesome.
Right.
That's amazing. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. I do like to mention that after I said my parents didn't take me to the World Series, I have started getting texts about it. So I might be in trouble, you guys. Might be in a little bit of trouble.
Don't even come home for Thanksgiving.
Don't even bother coming home.
Taylor, you can come to my house for Thanksgiving.
Aw.
You can come enjoy that.
Aw. Usually you're so mean to me on the show, Kelton.
Well,
Yeah,
somebody's got
you gotta throw me a bone sometime,
yeah.
right? All right, so we're going to throw it back. We're going to come back with some fantasy football, some out of bounds. It's going to be pretty fun. We're almost done. We have roughly 20 minutes left of the show. So you make sure you keep it tuned in to Station for Your Generation. Thanks, though, to Premier Community Management for underwriting us. Premier Community Management offers a variety of services to homeowner associations across central Arizona, and they're located online at premieraz.com. We'll be right back with more Unsportsmanlike Conduct on the 91.1 station for your generation. Welcome back to the 91.1 FM. I'm Koehler. I'm on mic 1. On mic 2 is Keltin. He was so hurt that I didn't introduce him first last time.
Yeah. Can you play the Mrs. Nesbitt again? Because I love that.
Let me fade the music out and I'll play it again.
I love the Mrs. Nesbitt.
Can I hear it this time?
No.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbitt.
Is that what you were looking for?
Yes. That was awesome.
Zach, could you hear it? Or are you just sitting over there?
Just kind of out of Kelton's headphones.
And if you missed why we play that, it's because whenever we talk about WT football, we always have to play it because Coach Nesbitt is the head coach for WT football.
Mr.
Nesbitt. So that was always a pretty funny one. Right now, I forgot. Zach is on mic 3. I almost forgot Zach. Zach, what are you doing here?
Man.
I don't know. I'm sitting here not knowing anything about baseball except for the one or two things that I do know.
The one or two things. What do you know about baseball?
That Michael Young is now for the Dodgers.
You did know that. That's right.
The Astros have more World Series than Rangers.
Very true.
Yeah.
So do the Diamondbacks.
Boom, baby.
Everybody has more.
Zach, I remember a few seasons ago when we put the stipulation out there that if we had so many callers that you would get to talk about hockey for like 5 minutes.
Yep. No, it was arena football.
It was It was arena football, and I remember Adam and I just zoned out. We just let you go, baby.
You just do your thing. Maybe we'll bring that back, Zach.
Well, considering arena football's not happening right now.
Well, I mean like hockey.
Yeah, we could do some hockey.
You do some hockey in here.
Your freaking Rattlers.
That's it.
Got a double.
I second the motion. Next show we'll have a little bit of hockey.
Tune in here. We will have hockey.
Hockey in Texas? What?
Yeah.
All right. So before we do Out of Bounds, we'll do fantasy football. Yet again, nobody has submitted any names or any suggestions. Not at all. I'm not calling our fans out, but at the same time I am. No suggestions. Next week, player I would be on the lookout for or to avoid would be Marshawn Lynch. He's going against the Arizona Cardinals at home. Or, I mean, not at home, but at Arizona on the road. Arizona has a surprisingly tough defense. What are you two doing over there? I just stopped. I see you guys, like, roaring at each other.
We were doing nothing.
We were doing nothing.
And then one guy, if you can trade him and get some value for him, would be Matt Ryan. Coming into this season, you thought for sure he'd be a top 10 quarterback. He certainly has the skills to do it, but he does lose Julio Jones for the entire year to a foot injury.
Right.
Roddy White is supposed to miss time a few weeks, they said. And Tony Gonzalez is almost 40.
They were talking on Chiefs pregame today. They're like, the Chiefs are decimated at tight end. They're toast.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, we should try to trade for Tony Gonzalez. Yeah.
That would be perfect. He comes back and he wins one.
Amazing.
Oh, that'd be awesome. So I would avoid Matt Ryan. It's gonna start getting ugly for him, certainly. One guy I would be on the lookout for to have a good game next week would be Phillip Rivers. Even though you two said that the Jaguars have a good defense,
I never said that Phillip Rivers wouldn't be good.
No, I mean that you said the Jaguars defense is set, or that was you.
That was Zach.
How dare you? Just kidding. I would expect Phillip Rivers to have a good game. And then the last one before we jump into Out of Bounds would be Cam Newton. I think he's going to have a good week. 4 touchdowns total today, 3 throwing, 1 rushing against the Vikings. And then next week he has the Rams at home. So I think he's going to have a pretty solid game there. So look out for that. So that's going to do it for our fantasy football segment. And then now we're going to jump into the wackiest stories around the world. It's time for Out of Bounds.
You sound insane. Do you realize that? I'm not insane. My mother had me tested.
You kidding me?
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You are a sad, strange little man. And you have no pity.
I'm not a kid!
Cat starts going, meow! Oh, crazy.
That ain't true!
I feel like I'm
taking crazy pills!
That was the.
Can you do the cat impression? I want to hear your cat impression, Koehler.
There's a cat in the house. She's like, wow.
He's going crazy.
I'm like, and then my dog's going crazy. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, there's a cat in the house. There's a cat in the house. Well, that's a whole other rant. We'll put that. We'll tweet that. I'll tweet that tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
That's gonna be a good one. If you haven't seen it, Coastal Carolina coach.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
This segment's called Out of Bounds. It's for all the wackiest stories. Doesn't have to be about sports. It can be any wacky story or any interesting story. Usually they're kind of crazy. Does anybody have like a really good one?
I got a good one. The forecast, gross with a slight chance of did he really eat that? Some local news weathermen like to clown around while delivering the forecast, but Scott Haney of WFSB-TV, the CBS station in Hartford, Connecticut, went too far on Wednesday. During a live newscast, Haney scooped what he thought was a handful of grape nut cereal off the studio floor and popped it into his mouth, only to learn too late it wasn't cereal but cat vomit.
Oh!
It gets better. They're a little soggy, said Haney upon first bite, and as his fellow anchors looked on horrified, and they taste like shoes. Slowly, it began to dawn on Haney that no one was running around pouring handfuls of grape nuts on the studio floor, and he'd actually consumed something more troubling. And he said, I think that might be dog duty, Haney announced. Wrong domestic animal or end of domestic animal. Haney announced on air later that he'd discovered the secret of the sickening substance. Those were not grape nuts I ate, Haney said. I kept finding more and more of it on the floor, and I thought it was grape nuts, but because it just looked like it, my cat threw up, and I must have stepped in it. That's what I ate. As proof, Haney held up his kitty barf-splattered shoe.
Oh. See, that's the question I was going to ask.
How do you not...
Why would you even try that? Yeah.
First of all,
look, there's grape nuts on the freaking floor.
Who's confusing grape nuts for cat vomit? And then second, I was going to ask you, but you answered at the end. I'm like, how did cat vomit get into a news station?
I know, that's what I was wondering.
Well, you know, like there's a station in Kansas that has a corgi that kind of runs around and like doing something.
Oh, okay, like a station pet.
Yeah, like a station pet, you know, does their own thing. And apparently the cat was having some digestive issues. And
man, it must have been a lot, because if it followed his shoes all the way there.
There's a great picture of him on this page. We might have to tweet this one. There's a great picture of him on this page with his tongue out, and he just looks disgusted.
Well, I would imagine, yeah.
Eating cat vomit on a live broadcast. Wow.
I do have to say, compliments to his professionalism for not like freaking out. Yeah.
I'd have been like,
live.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
He goes on to say, it's disgusting. I'm going to throw up. All right, I'm done. I'm not doing my story. I'm tired. Go to Irene O'Connor, a fellow anchor. Haney wasn't shy about sharing the news about what he had consumed, even tweeting about it. Fans were quick to join in the fun. I think you need a breath mint or catnip, said somebody. And even his own employer, who couldn't resist teasing Haney and using his strange dietary choice as a way to coax viewers to watch.
Wow.
Was,
gosh.
Man. Meowsa.
Brody.
Yeah.
Well, I have one that's cat related.
Oh, good. Let's hear it, Zach.
The title is Authorities Ticket Wheelchair Using Cat. And
What?
it's actually a video. And so
You've got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah, it's this household cat that its back legs are paralyzed. It's completely useless back legs, and so the owner bought kind of this little wheelchair thing off of eBay, so the cat can walk around and do stuff.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
And she takes her cat and the dog out for walks every day, and she got like a $230-something ticket because the cat wasn't on a leash. And it's law, I can't remember what state they said, for any animal that's off of their property has to be on a leash, like including cats.
Wow. I'm
just like, hold on.
Really?
Cats, which are constantly out in the wild. How do you know that's her cat? Well, in that instance, yeah.
Yes.
But it's just kind of like, really? A cat? I mean, dogs, maybe, yes. Well, big ones at least. But it's just kind of ridiculous. I found that kind of funny. Whenever I clicked on it, whenever I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, it must have got like a speeding ticket or something. But I found out it was just the no leash. I was just kind of, oh well. And of course, the owner's just like, I don't even know where you'd put it. I'm just like, well, you can put it on a collar like a normal animal, or you can get one of those like full body harnesses, which are kind of cool.
Very good.
Yeah, it would be pretty
Very
cool.
good. Two cat-related ones, Kaylor. Are you going to make it a third consecutive cat-related story?
I guess you could, hold a cat in my story. Mine is about the U.S. Army is developing an Iron Man suit.
I saw that one.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, the U.S. Army research wing of it, are developing a tactical assault light operator suit, or TALOS, and it promises to provide superhuman strength with greater ballistic protection. And this is in a press release by the U.S. Army. I'm looking at the pictures of it. I don't know if you guys can see. They have a guy running on a treadmill.
Nice.
It's not like the one in the movie, where you have the Iron Man iron all over your body. It's kind of it looks like knee braces, kind of, and elbow brace. That's what it looks like on their little picture. So that's pretty cool, though. I don't know if they'd be for sale for regular people. I think that could be kind of a whole new argument, but
regular people.
That'd be pretty. I would buy one, man.
Dude, I would too.
That'd
That's
be
awesome.
sweet. So that's good.
That would be very. I don't. Unfortunately, that probably costs a salty couple $1 million.
I was about to say, yeah.
And I've only got $900,000 cash on me right now, so I can't have one of those at the moment. I don't, by the way.
Keltin, you saying you can't sport me $500,000 right now?
I can't spot you.
Oh man,
yeah.
You don't have change.
Sorry, I don't. You got change for a 20?
You got change. So that's going to be it for the show. We still have roughly 5 minutes to go, so we'll talk about a little bit what's going on campus this week, you guys. I know we have football, as we said, on Saturday at 6 p.m. at Kimbrough.
Correct.
Buffs are taking on Angelo State, the Rams. That's usually a good game. Or no, is it the Rams? Yes, it should be the Rams.
It'd be the Angelo State Rams come to Canyon this weekend. The
1980s,
we also have soccer, I believe. I'll look it up.
St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
St. Louis Rams are coming to play us.
The Rams have got a decent. They can run the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty talented quarterback. There's some definite talent on Angelo State. They haven't quite been able to put it together yet, but yeah, they've got some pretty good talent. Come out, support the Buffaloes. Wear pink as well. It's the pink out game.
Yeah.
Speaking of pink out, I believe the volleyball game earlier is pink out too.
2 o'clock against Cameron. The Aggies in the box is also the pink out. It's pretty much
pink out day.
Pink out. I think it's pretty much pink out week. There's a lot of pink activities going on this week. You can check the WT website for a list of those as well. Women's soccer faces Eastern New Mexico Friday night in Canyon at 6, and then men's soccer against Eastern at 8 o'clock, both out at the pitch, and sandwiched in between there is women's volleyball against Midwestern State.
So we have some wagon wheel going down this weekend.
We got some. Well, not quite wagon wheel.
I consider any competition against Eastern.
We do have the Highway 287 Challenge Cup going on this weekend,
which we've been told by Kit earlier that we are now down 2-1.
We are now down 2-1 in the Highway 287 Challenge Cup, and so if the Lady Buffs can beat Midwestern State this Friday at the box, which is a game that you should go to at 7 o'clock, then we will pull even with Midwestern State. Still early, still a lot of points out there to be had, but go out and support the Buffs and the Lady Buffs.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you guys have any last minute thoughts, theory, or do you want to do it today in history? This day in history?
No.
What?
I imagine today in history might be a little sad, because you never quite know.
Oh,
yeah, history is kind of violent sometimes.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, that used to be the segment where I would do an old timer's voice. This day in history.
Zach, your final thoughts?
Yeah, you have any final thoughts, Zach?
Hockeys are back, folks. I know probably like a whopping.
Yeah, do you want to go to the corner?
No.
Oh, no energy.
No, you're not here.
Housekeeping.
Freaking go Abs. 4-0. No, 5-0. No, yeah, 4-0 now. 5.
Right.
5-0 because we got 10 points. We're second in conference, first in Central Division. They redid the divisions. It's kind of weird. There's only 4, and so there's like 8 teams in each one.
Right.
It's kind of cool. Anyways, go Abs, go Buffs, go Houston everything.
Everything.
Dynamo, even though Rockets, aren't playing right now, but
the Astros,
their basketball is going to be back in a couple weeks.
It is.
So we'll have that to talk about too.
But anyways, yeah, go stuff. And guys, I know it's middle semester, midterms are here. Stick through it. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. Get some plenty rest and stuff, and stick with it, guys.
Don't remind me that Thanksgiving's just around the corner, by the way.
Oh,
for those of us graduating in December.
Oh, yeah, that's a scary thought.
Officially under the 60-day mark.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah. Man, Kelton, what are you going to do with your life outside of WT Broadcasting?
I don't know. I might cry myself to sleep every night.
So what yours was Beware of Thanksgiving?
No. My final thoughts. By the way, I think that the NBA playing preseason games abroad is brilliant.
It is. It's huge overseas.
It's huge overseas, and it's awesome that they can see a lot of those players' basketballs in international games. So it's fantastic that they can see that. Go Buffs, go Lady Buffs. Stay in schools. Keep with it, like Zach said. Stick with it.
Sounding like you.
And yeah, copycat. And by the way, don't trust the Olympic torch to light your cigarettes or whatever it is that you need lit, because it has gone out 4 times already on its way to Sochi.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, so that's my final thoughts. Kayla.
Mine is shout out to all the Buffs in professional football. This is a big weekend for a couple of them. Kyrie Robinson scores his first career touchdown for the Saints today. Again, I've said multiple times that the Saints want to really get their run game going. They need to really let him loose because he's a beast. And then Britton Golden making the active roster for the Arizona Cardinals. That's always good news.
Jamarcus Webb now with the Minnesota Vikings. Stephen Burton with the Jaguars.
Eugene Sims with the Rams.
Correct.
Let's see if we can. Anthony
Mercury
Armstrong.
Morris with the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. He visited the White House a couple weeks ago.
He did.
Anthony Armstrong actually isn't on the Cowboys anymore.
Is he on? Did they release him?
Yes.
Oh man!
I looked at the roster a minute ago.
Maurice Cheeks, head coach of the Pistons. I mean, come on, that's a pretty big one.
Correct.
That's pretty much it. That into a certain 14-year-old juvenile who thinks he's good enough to make our show after scoring a touchdown. Apparently, I don't know.
Who's that, Gus?
I don't know.
Oh,
it could be. I don't know. One last thanks to Premier Community Management for underwriting and sportsmanlike conduct. Premier Community Management offers a variety of services to homeowners associations throughout Central